Hello, I'm Dr. Manuel G. Saldivar. I'm a cognitive psychologist and a university faculty member. This video is one in a series associated with a textbook by Jeffrey Levy entitled Psychology, the Science of Human Potential. This is a free open source textbook that's available for anyone to use. A link to this textbook can be found below this video in the description box. The purpose of this video is not to cover every single point in the textbook. Rather, it's meant to give students an overview of the contents and the big ideas, the main themes of every particular chapter. So let's get started. Chapter 9 of Levy's textbook discusses the concept of personality, which we can define as a set of traits. A personality trait, then, is an individual's pattern of behavior, including their thoughts and feelings, as well as stuff that can be seen by other people. Behaviors can be seen by others. These behaviors, these thoughts and patterns of ideas are consistent across time and across different situations. That's what we mean by the idea of personality. There have been a lot of competing ideas, theories of personality that have been offered by psychologists and other researchers over the years. But it's important to understand that personality is subject to the same nature versus nurture issues or dynamics that other aspects of human behavior are. We know, for example, from research that approximately 30% to 60%, now that is kind of a wide variance, but there's a reason for that that I won't go into in this discussion. But we know that from about a third to about two-thirds of an individual's personality traits can be ascribed to their heredity. For example, if you prefer a close social contact, you like having a lot of close friends, we might call a people person, about 15% of that trait, that characteristic, can be attributed to your genes. If you're oriented towards high achievement, we know from research that about 38% of that trait, that characteristic, is attributable to your heredity. It isn't something that you just kind of decide on your own, living in the world. I'm oriented towards high achievement. A good chunk of that orientation, that trait, comes from the genes you inherited from your parents. If you are comfortable or even prefer traditionalism in society, that means a society where people tend to follow rules and traditions as opposed to kind of making up new stuff. 59% of that trait can be attributed to your heredity. And then finally, this has always interested me as a psychologist, if you have a very active imagination, about 74%, almost 3 out of 4 parts of your active imagination can be attributed to your heredity, as opposed to some thing or some reasons that you just kind of decided for yourself as a human being. I want to have an active imagination, or I have an active imagination. Most of that goes back to your DNA. The current state of the art in terms of theories of personality is the Big Five theory. Please look at the description box below this video. I have a separate video that I've already created on personality theory, so I'm going to refer you to that. Otherwise, here just want to remind you that in this chapter of Levy, chapter 9, there is a discussion of personality that's very important, and the Big Five, I think, is probably the best starting point to dig into this idea. If you're watching this video because you're in one of my classes, you probably will have a separate handout or reading about personality as well, just FYI, and that would also be linked in the video below. The big takeaway from this chapter that I want you to walk away with is that for all the diversity in human beings, as different as we can be from one another, our behaviors overall tend to be very consistent, and this consistency lets us make some behaviors in terms of our personality, the characteristics that we have as part of our personality, and in turn, by understanding personality, understanding how people tend to behave in certain situations, or are likely to behave in certain situations, then we can make predictions and have a better understanding of how different new situations what kind of behaviors will result from those new situations that we encounter. that concludes today's video. I hope you've found this overview helpful for your own studies. Please don't forget to like and subscribe if you found this video useful. It really helps my YouTube channel grow. Good luck with your continuing studies of psychology as well as with the rest of your college career. Take care.